one really had me thinking. There's some school districts where you don't have the resources that you need. But even if, say, budget is I won't say the enemy or the thing that's holding you back from getting what, you take the challenge because you do everything, even if you have to go to the dollar store, you can get something to teach your kids. In other words, you're courageous. Now, I love this one. You know, I teach my kids from the heart and not just from the book, because I realize that sometimes the best thing they need is something that's not in my lesson plan. You know, when you look at kids, and in fact, when I was with Amy the other day, I said, Amy, look at these kids. You don't know what kind of home they came from this morning. They could be high income. They could be middle income. They could be low income. They could be happy. They could be sad. They could have a low self-esteem. But as a teacher, the wickedness that God has given you, I call it discernment. You can look at a child and see, you know, something's not right. You know, why are you sad today? That's caring. And of course, kids don't want to know how much, they don't care how much you know. They want to know that you care about them. You can have all the degrees in the world. It doesn't matter to them. But thank God, if you're caring, they'll move mountains for you. If you're caring, they'll do what you say. Now, will it happen in one day? Probably not, because, I mean, kids are kids. Of course, your lesson plans, which could change, should be interactive. How many of you had a college professor and his voice was like a relaxation tape? I hope nobody does that in here. But the bottom line is the interactiveness put on by you can cause your students to just race to get to your class. Think about your kids now. Are they racing to get to you? Or are they dragging to come into you? A lot of that depends. See, you set the tone in your classroom. Even if you work in the front office, you set the tone. And by the way, your front office staff is awesome. An effective teacher wants to make sure that her kids get the best of the best. You will do everything you can to make sure that they get high quality instruction. I mean, anybody can read from a book. Anybody can download a lesson plan online. But when you've taken the time to interact with your students, to make sure that if this doesn't work, then I got a plan B, then all for the better. That's skill.